I used to school with several Africans from different countries who couldn't see nor speak of anything good in their country at the time. And it always bothered me. Many of them hardly had any good thing to say or any good reason to return home when they graduate. And the impression was to not return until they made it. Then fast forward, there was a time in my life when all I did was complain about things and regrets for returning home, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, all I could see were the problems surrounding me and in my community. The closest friends I had at the time shared similar thoughts for some reason. And later on, I realized all the news I was watching were news of bad happenings. It became my worldview at the time for a while, and nothing became attractive anymore. My life was about regrets and hates for my circumstance. Meanwhile, I had other friends on the other side I seldom met. Those guys had a lot going for them and therefore never had time to waste around. Anytime I would engage them, I felt they spoke a language I couldn't relate, and I'm being honest. They were constantly planning on their projects and comparing notes and discussing events as though they weren't part of the local economy. It became uncomfortable for me after a while whenever we met. Until one day, ladies and gentlemen, they invited me to one of their business meetings. It was there at their business meeting I realized that, no, maybe I'm wrong in the way I think. Maybe I'm wrong in the way I look at things. These were business people who came out to have a good time. They ate rich foods and drank good wines and looked happy. I stared and asked myself all the questions throughout the evening. Questions like, what do they do for a living? And where do they live? And why are they so organized and happy? It made me somewhat happy, but also felt left behind. But I quite remember, ladies and gentlemen, when I left the place that night, I knew I had to make changes. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the beginning of my rebirth. Listen, folks, stop talking down on your country and on yourself. There is a greater role for all of us to play than what you have experienced. I want to make this clear to you. The worldview that we currently have isn't the whole truth, nor the whole story. It is so far from the end. We can be great in Africa. We can be successful right here in our home countries. But we can only do that with a renewed mindset.